Well, hello, welcome back. We are going to do a little reaction video to the Hero Shade. This is something that I was questioning and wondering about, and I knew there's some deeper lore to it, but didn't really know too much about it. And so I did a little research. Also was talking with the guy Pasta Spoon. Hello, how you doing? Hope you're having a great day. But anyway, so I found a video by Zeltik that I was like, oh, I want to do a reaction video to. So I am gonna watch this video, do a little reaction to it. This is my first time doing a reaction video. I've tested it and played with it a little bit. Hopefully the sound works. Hopefully it does well. If it doesn't, I'm sorry. I'm recording and this is the reaction you're gonna get. So hopefully it does well. We might pause it a few times, try to be able to figure out exactly what's going on with this. So I'm excited for this. Let me restart it over and we'll get into it.
In Twilight Princess, Link is taught sword techniques by the Hero's Shade, an armored, skeletal warrior. The Hero's Shade is one of the Zelda series' most enigmatic characters, an undead swordsman with a single, piercing red.
Yeah, what is with the red eye? Why does it have that red eye with it?
Eye clad in a suit of ancient golden armor. The game reveals very little about his backstory, but it does hint at his true identity. It seems that he is none other than the Hero of Time, the incarnation of Link from Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask.
Okay, so that is a piece of it, is that he is a descendant. What did he say? A descendant, or how did he word it? Sure, it seems that he's none other than the Hero of Time. He is, it sounded like it, he is the Link from
It seems that he is none
Ocarina of
other
Time.
than the Hero of Time, the incarnation of Link from Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. How is this possible? How did this legendary hero, the Link who traveled the roads of time itself to save his kingdom, become this? Subscribe if you haven't already for more Zelda.
Yeah, feel free to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for also subscribe to Zeltik. They're pretty awesome. I don't know if I'm subscribed to them, but maybe I should. But thanks, Zeltik, for putting all this info together. It's great to be able to have somebody that dives into it and analyzes all these things.
The content, and let's examine the story of the Hero's Shade. After Link has made his way through the dusky Faron Woods, but before he enters its heart, the Forest Temple, he meets a shimmering, golden wolf. When approached, the wolf lunges at the hero. Gilded jaws snap shut on Link's head, and the forest around them fades into mist. When the hero wakes, he finds himself in an eerie, dreamlike echo of Hyrule, and the golden wolf reveals its true form, a towering phantom knight. The skeletal swordsman tells Link that a sword wields no strength unless the hand that holds it has courage. You may be destined to become the hero of legend, but your current power would disgrace the proud green of the hero's tunic you wear. You must use your courage to seek power, and find it you must. Only then will you become the hero for whom this world despairs. The Hero's Shade can be encountered multiple times throughout Twilight Princess, each time teaching Link a hidden skill, improving the nascent hero's ability with the blade. His identity is never explicitly stated in the game, but it is in Hyrule Historia.
Okay, so this Hyrule Historia, I've never really looked this up before. Pasta Spoon has mentioned it. I need to dive into that and look into Hyrule Historia. I'm guessing it has just all sorts of lore and everything else. I don't know if Hyrule Historia is created by the creators or who actually made Hyrule Historia. Hold on, I'm going to Google that really quick. Where is my mouse? There it is. Oh. Whoops, I lost. I don't have my other screen up. We'll look at that later.
which claims that the spirit of Link's ancestor, the hero of time, teaches him his secrets. Ever since returning to the child era, the swordsman has lamented the fact that he was not remembered as a hero. This quote affirmed the already commonly accepted belief surrounding the hero's shade, but it claims three things. First, that the hero's shade is the spirit of the hero of time. Second, that the hero of Twilight is directly descended from the hero of time. And third, that the reason the hero of time's spirit lingers on is because he regrets his legacy.
So that's interesting, the descended. Actually, because does that mean like it's father son kind of descended, or it's just that reincarnation that usually happens within Zelda? I mean, the lore is kind of all messed up and jumbled. Like it just kind of has these stories that keep coming up and has different connections, different ways. So it's interesting to hear them talk about being descended, but also that that he wants to be remembered. Like, when he goes to, because this is really the link of the kid that goes to Majora's Mask. I guess, yeah, he puts the Master Sword back in. Nobody really remembers that he was the savior of Hyrule. I mean, it seems like Zelda would have known, because when at the very end of Ocarina of Time, when he goes back to Zelda and she like smiles at him, she knows who he is. So I think, does she know really? Or does that not really happen? Does the whole memory of everything else, because he goes back in time, does nobody really know about what's really happened with Ganondorf? And so he wants to be remembered because nobody knows about it.
But
anyway,
just how much does the game itself support these claims? What evidence is there for the hero's shade's identity and motive?
Whoa.
Oh, now I got commercials. Oh, that's hilarious, because I'm watching somebody else's. I wonder if, well, there's a commercial in there. That's funny.
There are numerous obvious parallels between Link and the hero's shade. Both are skilled, left-handed swordsmen.
Which, by the way, I'm left-handed, so when you're playing in, Skyward Sword, and granted the Wii U, whatever, I was like, I wish we could be able to really play it as a left-handed person, because I was left-handed. But anyway, it's the way I was playing it in Twilight Princess. I think they said that they reversed everything, because you are holding the Wii U controller with your right hand, which that's just the natural way to be able to hold those controllers. But I'm like, I'm left-handed. Like, why not make it so I can be able to use it as a left-handed swordsman? But anyway.
And both also take on the form of a wolf. Notably, Link's wolf form is the result of his possession of the Triforce of Courage. The artifact is able to shield him from the effects of the Twilight and allow him to take on a bestial form rather than be reduced to a spirit. Midna claims that her people, the Twilight, long knew that a hero would appear in the form of a divine beast. The hero's shade's wolf form is different, however. His wolf is gold, and doesn't seem to be a response to the effects of Twilight like Link's, instead something like a reflection of his true spirit. As another incarnation of the hero, he too can take on the form of a divine beast. This is supported by his dialogue too, where he refers to his techniques as only for the one who carries.
So are they like a little bit of animagus going on? We got a little Harry Potter action in here where they can transform. Does Link, his transform ability, happen because of Midna? Or he's able to transform with some other power? Like, now that Midna is gone, is he still able to transform into a wolf? Can Link, who is a can he just in future experiences transform just into a wolf now? Without having to have Midna with him.
Carries the blood of the hero, the one whose spirit is that of the sublime beast. With Link in mind, certain elements of his armor do stand out. The red pattern on his loincloth is vaguely reminiscent of the red loftwing design on the Hylian shield, and the face on the Shade's chest plate could further echo this, especially with what appears to be a beak. However, the chest plate also seems to feature ears, so perhaps
It almost looks like bear ears or something. But yeah, it does have a beak.
this, coupled with the golden color of his armor, calls back to his alternate form as the Golden Wolf. Hyrule Encyclopedia lists the hero's shade as a Stalfos, one of a class of undead warriors, often appearing as enemies in Zelda games.
Yeah, but Stalfos, like this one is a skeletal.
According to Fado, a Kokiri, anyone who enters Hyrule's forest becomes lost, and everyone who is lost becomes a Stalfos. However, except for a...
So are they saying that Link wandered in the Lost Forest and couldn't find his way out and then becomes a Stalfos? I mean, you got the green and the shield, the leaves and stuff with it.
passing similarity between the hero's shade and a Stalfos, there isn't a whole lot to this theory.
Okay.
For one, the shade, while appearing skeletal, isn't actually a skeleton. While we can see his skull, he does appear to have ghostly flesh, unlike any Stalfos. Additionally, Stalfos, while undead, are physical beings. They exist in the mortal world, the same plane of reality as Hylians and Zora and Gorons do. But the hero's shade only appears in this form in this spiritual plane. In the real world, he exclusively takes the form of a golden wolf, leading me to believe that the hero's shade is, well, a shade, a phantom, not a Stalfos. This spiritual plane is interesting in itself. Surrounding the area where these two heroes train are landmarks from around Hyrule, like the Arbiter's Grounds, Death Mountain, and Hyrule Castle itself. The fact that the Golden Wolf leaps at Link's head could imply that this training takes place within Link's mind, not unlike the Silent Realm trials.
Oh, the Silent Realm trials. Who's played that before? That was like the most anxiety driven, along with all of Majora's Mask. But this, that part of pure anxiety as you're getting caught by these things.
From Skyward Sword, which also took place
Yes, those
within
ghosts.
ghostly echoes of the real world. But for all the mystery surrounding the hero's shade, one small detail does provide irrefutable evidence for his true identity, seen while he teaches Link the mortal draw skill, when he wears his sword on his hip. While the blade itself isn't anything special, the scabbard is. It's identical to the Master Sword scabbard,
interesting.
only worn and decayed like the rest of his armor. The Master Sword scabbard is a bit of a tongue-in-cheek Zelda mystery.
Right, because it
resulting
just
from
like
a quirk of
appears.
game design.
They pull out
Whenever
the
Link
sword and you
pulls
just get
Master
the
Sword, he
yeah,
just
it's
seems
this
to
right here.
magically gain the scabbard too. Obviously, we're just not meant to think about this.
No, of course
Like how
not.
the Hero of Time.
And also how like the sword, when it goes into its sheath, it you can't really get it in that way with how long the sword is, and so it like has to halfway come in through it. Anyway, that's one of the funny things as
Suddenly
well.
gains leggings and earrings after
Right.
aging 7 years. But the fact that the hero's shade is still in possession of a broken, ancient version of the scabbard suggests that he wielded the Master Sword at some point in time.
And really, only the hero, the true hero, can be able to wield that Master Sword. And so it's got to be Link himself that has, I guess, passing on his knowledge to the younger Link.
Confirming the theory that this is the spirit of a previous incarnation of Link.
Okay, that's cool.
How do we know
That's cool.
that this swordsman who wields the Master Sword scabbard is the Hero of Time specifically?
Because they kind of
Notably,
mentioned it.
the
It seems like
words
they.
Hero of Time are never mentioned in Twilight Princess. However, a previous incarnation of Link is repeatedly referenced, either as the ancient hero,
Okay.
the legendary hero, or the hero of legend. Throughout the game, Link obtains various equipment once owned by this mythical hero. First, his tunic, which is given to him by the light spirit Farron after Link.
Oh yeah, he just automatically gets the tunic. So did they save that tunic from the ancient one, and they just have it hidden away in a hero bucket?
Clears the twilight from the area. Farron claims that the tunic was worn by an ancient hero chosen by the gods, and that his power slept within Link. And in the Goron mines, Link finds the hero's bow, said to be a treasure that once belonged to the legendary hero, which the Gorons have guarded for generations. Multiple other characters reference this hero too. It seems reasonable to believe that this ancient hero is the very same as the hero's shade. Otherwise, we're dealing with two separate legendary heroes from long ago, and the hero of Twilight is following in both of their footsteps.
So wait, what's the catch?
Oh, hey, we got
That's
another
what
commercial.
most people ask
What
when
is
they
the
hear about
catch? That's a
Rocky Mountain
great
Power's
question.
new Watt Smart incentive.
Yeah, okay, skip that.
So, can we identify
Sorry for having
this
those
ancient
commercials
hero?
in there.
Twilight Princess is set hundreds of years after Ocarina of Time's child timeline ending, the alternate branch of history created when the hero of time returned to the past and warned Zelda of Ganondorf's betrayal, preventing his 7-year rule over the Kingdom of Hyrule. There are
Hold on. 2 seconds. We're backing up that for 2 seconds. Most replayed. Oh, that's funny to look at like where most replayed is. It's right there where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm also skipping back right there. This branch.
Zelda of Ganondorf's betrayal, preventing his 7-year rule over the Kingdom.
Okay, so one game I haven't played is this. What is that called? The Wind Waker? The Wind Waker is one that I'd want to get into as well, and that happens when Ganondorf is sealed. But this one is, he changes history, he goes back. So this is when he's an adult. But he's so, like, this Toon Link looks like he's a child almost in this one. I guess it's just the artist rendition of it, but and whether these are really, how they really line up or not. Yeah, I wonder, it'd be interesting to have another one after, I don't know. I like the idea of, timelines and everything else with it. I mean, the whole Back to the Future and the Marvel studio, all the things that they've been doing with time travel. Like, I love the time traveling. I love to see things line up and be able to see clues and other things that go in with it all.
Hyrule.
But
there
anyway,
are 4 playable Links that predate the hero of Twilight. Link from Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, Link from Four Swords, Link from the Minish Cap, and Link from Skyward Sword. There is,
which I've only played Skyward
the
Sword out of
hero
those.
Men mentioned in the Minish Cap's intro, and another unseen Link mentioned in the backstory of Four Swords, bringing our total to 6 possible candidates that we know of for the identity of the ancient hero mentioned in Twilight Princess. And there's always the possibility that the hero's shade is another Link entirely, one never seen nor mentioned in any game prior to Twilight Princess.
Fair enough. I mean, they really
More
could just
than
be
any other Link, the
just some
green
random
tunic and hero's bow said to belong to this ancient hero closely resemble those used by Skyward Sword Link. And by this time, the hero of the skies would truly be an ancient hero, one whose deeds would be carved into legend, a hero who saved the Kingdom of Hyrule before it even had a name. However, this is ignoring a crucial detail I've already mentioned. The hero's shade is left-handed, like the hero of Twilight and the hero of Time, and unlike the hero of the skies, who holds
but
a sword in his right hand.
They yield it in his right hand because they had to for the Wii U or the Wii. Like, because even when I was playing Twilight Princess, I had it in my right hand. And so I don't know that reasoning makes it so it can't be the Skyward Sword Link. Anyway, that's interesting.
And this invalidates the idea that the shade
Invalidates
is Skyward Sword entirely. The answer to the hero's shade's identity might not come from the shade himself, but his golden wolf form. Whenever Link encounters a howling stone, he howls songs together with this spectral wolf. and most, albeit not all of these, are songs connected to the Hero of Time's quests.
Oh, are they
such as
like...
the Prelude of Light.
Okay. So I remembered there was a couple of these songs that like just sounded familiar, but I don't think all of them did. Did all of them have a link to the Ocarina of Time, or was it just a couple of them? I do remember the Water Temple one. But yeah, now that I hear the Prelude of Light,
And the Requiem of Spirits.
Okay, yep.
From Ocarina of Time, and the Song of Healing.
Oh, interesting. I don't know that I put those two and two together with the
From
Majora's Mask.
In
Yeah.
particular, this final song is a secret melody taught to the Hero of Time by the happy mask salesman in Termina. It's incredibly personal to Link's journey in Majora's Mask. If the Golden Wolf is howling songs that reflect his own life as a hero, then it seems more likely that he is, indeed, the Hero of Time. From a narrative standpoint, this makes the most sense. Twilight Princess acts as a direct sequel to Ocarina of Time. Together with the Wind Waker, Twilight Princess shows one of two different futures for the Kingdom of Hyrule following the Hero of Time's adventure.
Sorry, 2 seconds. We're going back. Pause it. Oh, I missed it. There, it looks like there is a
sequel to Ocarina of Time. Together with the
FSA. What is that? Four Swords. Okay, so eventually I might want to play Four Swords. That'd be interesting to kind of see if that is a descendant or a one after Twilight.
Wind Waker, Twilight Princess shows one of two different futures for the Kingdom of Hyrule following the Hero of Time's adventure. It makes the most sense for this hero to be the one referenced here, but the game never makes this explicit, and this claim could be argued against. But regardless,
Thanks for coming.
Oh, come on.
Of course.
Okay, they have way too many commercials.
Hundreds by
Hold on.
customizing your car insurance.
Libbity bibbity. Way
that's
too many
the first
commercials
claim
going
made
on
by
here.
Hyrule Historia covered, and I'd argue that the lorebook is mostly accurate here. The hero's shade is definitely the spirit of a previous Link, and while it isn't certain, it seems probable that this Link was the Hero of Time. As for the second claim made by Hyrule Historia, that the hero's shade is Twilight Princess's Link's ancestor, that's an easy one to prove. The two are explicitly stated to share a bloodline. Not only does the shade refer to him as my child, he claims that the...
Okay, so a bloodline, as in Link had a child and they have actual literal descendants, and then a new Link just appears, hundreds of years later. So a descendant of Link might not necessarily, like a child of Link, might not necessarily be the next hero, but he could just be a son. And then they're saying that eventually, after so many children, that a new hero comes into existence. I mean, that's interesting because you do have, how did he get born in the first place? How did Twilight Princess Zelda get born in the first place? It's not like he just appears. So yeah, interesting. And then that makes sense now that I'm thinking about it. I wasn't thinking about it before, actual having literal lineage descendants of a Link.
Skills I have to teach you entered the realm of true secrecy. They are forgotten ways that do not leave our bloodline. This puts the hero of Twilight in a somewhat unique position as the only Link canonically descended from another, and could further...
The only Link canonically descended from another. Oh, interesting. Oh my god. Just a spam call. There we go. Okay, that's fascinating. Yeah, because I haven't thought about that before with others, but this one is saying that it is unique to all the others. The other ones aren't necessarily descendants. It's just a hero is born somewhere. It doesn't necessarily have to be, from a descendant of a previous Link. Because if that was the case, then they would have that lineage be highly revered, and they would grow up pretty much like kings almost. is what would probably happen in a normal society if that was the case. Instead of it just being some random kid, then becomes a hero.
Explain why Faron refers to the ancient hero's power as sleeping within Link, as well as why he is seemingly born in possession of the Triforce of Courage, rather than needing to earn it. And finally, the third claim, that ever since returning to the child era, the swordsman has lamented the fact that he was not remembered as a hero. This is a fascinating idea.
It really
and a
is.
tragic end to the life of one of the greatest heroes in Hyrule.
Because honestly, Ocarina of Time was probably the greatest game. At least, I mean, that's what I grew up on. To me, it's one of the best games I've ever played. I love that game.
History, but there's nothing to back this up in the game itself. Once Link has learned every hidden skill from the Shade, the Undead Knight claims that, although he accepted life as the hero, he could not convey the lessons of that life to those who came after. At last, he has eased those regrets. While similar, this seems to suggest an entirely different motivation to the one outlined in Hyrule Historia. Instead of regretting that he was not remembered as a hero, he instead regrets that he had not been able to pass on his knowledge. Because it does seem that the Hero of Time was remembered as a hero, even in the Child Timeline branch. Though returning to the past erased the memory of the heroic acts of adult Link in this timeline, the Hero of Time was still etched into legend. Majora's Mask's intro sequence describes his legend as one held dearly by the royal family, one of a...
So, but was it just held by the royal family? Like, is it just the royal family that really knew about it? They didn't go and tell everybody else? It was just like Zelda and the king?
Boy who, after battling evil and saving Hyrule, crept away from the lands that had made him a legend.
Made him a legend in the eyes of Zelda and the king, or made him a legend with everybody in the land? So I could see where he's kind of saying that he was really remembered, but I think there's a chance that also he was only remembered by a few people.
And centuries later, he is revered as the
legendary
hero
I mean,
chosen
right.
by the gods.
Right.
And items
Okay.
he used have become sacred relics.
Yeah, that's true. Okay,
not only
that makes
does it
sense.
seem out of character for an incarnation of Link, the eternal.
All right, so those last 2 points, it does make sense because everybody in the town knows of this hero of ancient that saved Hyrule and everything else.
Eternally selfless, stereotypical hero, to regret that others do not remember him as a hero, it just doesn't seem like that is the case for the Hero of Time. He was remembered, yet still remains to teach his descendant.
My child.
This leaves us with a considerable gap in the Hero of Time's story. The Hero of Time left Hyrule in search of Navi, his companion, who mysteriously...
Is that why he was wandering? He was just looking for Navi? I mean, I remember playing Majora's Mask, but I didn't really remember the very beginning of why he was traveling.
Vanished once Link returned to the past. He travels through the Lost Woods, where he falls into Termina, a strange, almost dreamlike world doomed by the evil magic of Majora. The story of the Hero of Time following Majora's Mask is unknown. We know that he leaves Termina and returns to the Lost Woods on Epona, but nothing is known about his life after this. However, we can infer some small details about his life based on what we know for certain. For one, the Hero of Time must have grown up. For the Hero of Twilight to be his direct descendant, this Link must have reached adulthood and fathered children. With whom is, of course, unknown. Some people choose to believe that he returned to Hyrule to marry Malon, like Talon promised, but let's be real, the Hero of Time...
Link in every game, he gets hit on by a few people, but I doubt he probably would have been with more of a Hyrulean person, not necessarily Rudo here.
There's no shortage of options.
No shortage of options.
Likely that the Hero of Time wielded the Master Sword once again.
But why not with Zelda? I mean, does he never actually together with Zelda? Is he only with these other side characters? Although Breath of the Wild / you know, the backstories, they do seem like they have a relationship together in those Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom kind of a thing. Tears of the Kingdom, they're separated by time, but Breath of the Wild, it seems like they're connected a lot more.
Again, in the child timeline, the Hero of Time never used this blade, as his time as an adult was erased.
True.
So for a future version of the child Hero of Time to possess the sword's scabbard, it's not a stretch to assume that, at some point, he took up the sword that seals the darkness once again.
Interesting.
If this is true, and the Hero of Time...
Ooh, then we need that video game. We need the video game where he pulls it up as an adult and a whole nother in-between timeline, and he gets a red eye. He has some kind of battle that gives him a red eye. That's what we need, Zelda. Come on, let's put that together.
Embarked on another unseen adventure, this could have been where he achieved wider renown, performing feats of courage and heroism that were remembered by even the common folk, not just the royal family and his Goron
Yeah,
brothers.
okay, fair enough.
Despite how much is unknown, the Hero's Shade story remains a tragic one. Even after losing his childhood in order to save Hyrule and Termina, the Hero of Time's sacrifice wasn't done. He was among the most legendary, accomplished heroes in Hyrule's history, but he had more to give. He had to share the wisdom and techniques he had learned from his difficult life with the hero that would succeed him. Until this was done, the Hero of Time was unable to let go, a broken spirit clinging to life in order to serve his kingdom one final time. In doing so, he became a hero who had not only conquered time, but death itself.
That's interesting.
The first time Link meets the Golden Wolf, it is without having...
We got a little Voldemort. He's got some Horcruxes or something to be able to keep stay alive.
The Howling Stone. Every subsequent time, the spirits must be summoned to the overworld by singing at one of these sites. And the first song Link and the Hero's Shade howl together is the Song of Healing,
Interesting.
a melody that heals evil magic and troubled spirits, learned by the Hero of Time during his adventure in Termina. Perhaps the Hero's Shade howls this to soothe his own troubles, the regrets and sorrow of a weary adventurer. In Hyrule Castle, Link is able to access a hidden graveyard by burrowing under a wall as Wolf Link. This entire area is completely optional, used only to gain an extra small key to unlock a storeroom near the boss chamber. It presents an interesting mystery. Here, Link can...
I don't know that I went through this place.
Find two large gravestones with readable text. The first
Yeah, I don't think
saying, "In the land where the rain stops, the statue of time moves," which is a hint on how to solve part of the area's puzzle by moving owl statues. But the other
Okay, so I almost need to go
gravestone
back into the
reads,
game and go
"The
check this
cursed
out."
Swordsman sleeps before the sacred tree. Now,
The
this could be
cursed
another hint
Is the sacred tree like the Deku tree? Is that what we're talking
for
about?
this area. Nearby, Link can find a tree surrounded by spirits of
Oh,
Hylian
interesting. Yeah, I've
soldiers,
missed this
pointing
all
to the
entirely.
ground. By bombing this spot, Link can find a switch, allowing him to proceed with the puzzle. But still, this doesn't fit particularly well, leaving this gravestone as something of a mystery. Who is the cursed swordsman, and what is the sacred tree?
And why is he cursed necessarily? Like, why? What's with the curse that's on him?
He sleeps before. It's possible that the cursed swordsman referenced here is the Hero's Shade. We know that the Hero of Time was honored by the royal family, so him having a gravestone in Hyrule Castle would make sense. But what about the sacred tree? Every time Link meets the Golden Wolf, it's after he's been summoned at a Howling Stone. Every time except the first, that is. The Hero's Shade first appears to Link without being called in Faron Woods, just outside of the Forest Temple, a sacred tree. Could this be what the gravestone is referring to?
Is
the
that
Hero's
the
Shade,
Deku tree?
the cursed swordsman, sleeps before the Forest Temple, a sacred tree. It's entirely possible, and if so, it adds a new level of depth to the Hero's Shade. It's left ambiguous what the forest temple actually is, but there are hints. The Kokiri crest.
Oh,
can be
interesting.
seen,
I
the
didn't put
symbol
those
of the
two
children
together.
Of the forest. The hero of time's
Oh.
journey, of course, began in Kokiri Forest, guided by the great Deku Tree. And here, centuries later, we find his spirit, waiting outside of the husk of a great tree deep in the heart of the Faron Woods. It's very possible that, in the end, the boy from the forest returns
interesting.
home.
Interesting. So it wasn't the Soraya or Sarah, his,
Thanks for watching this video. If you liked,
did he go back to the forest and he married Soraya, the Kokiri? But then, I mean, he becomes an adult and she's really small, but whatever, on that. But this Twilight Princess Link is actually a descendant of those two. That'd be very fascinating. If he did stay in his home where he grew up. Because if he would have married Zelda, he probably would have stayed in the castle. He would have been a king. He would have been descendants of that. So interesting.
Leave a like or subscribe if you haven't
Yeah,
already
leave a
for
like,
more
subscribe.
Zelda content. Cheers, guys, and I'll see you next time.
All right, cool. Well, Zeltik does a good job. I've watched a few of their videos on different, different things that they've had as far as lore and everything else with it. But yeah, this was a fascinating one to kind of learn more about the hero shade, learn about that. I like the whole timelines. I like the idea of it. I wish that Zelda, when they're making these games, that they could be a little more consistent to really have, no holes in the different timelines and everything else with it. Because there are so many holes in the different games and how they really work. But they're still fun games. Like, they're just excellent games. If there was clear, concise, like, this is exactly where this is coming from and this is how it's tied to it. Granted, that's probably a little bit more complicated for the developers, but we as fans always like to be able to create things like that or talk about those things. So anyway, this has been great fun. I've enjoyed playing Twilight Princess. Been such an exciting game to be able to play, and I loved so much of it. I think Ocarina of Time is still by far my top choice. Breath of the Wild is by far one of the best games ever as well. And then I think Twilight Princess really kind of lines up in that realm with it for me. Tears of the Kingdom is awesome and amazing, but I played Breath of the Wild 4 different times. Twice on the Wii U, once just regular mode, and then the Heroes mode or whatever it was called the extra challenging mode. And then when we got the Switch, I played the same thing and almost I've gotten the 120 shrines in probably 3 of those versions. And so anyway, when I got to Tears of the Kingdom, it was great and it was awesome to go through the storyline, but it felt like it was just kind of the same old thing. And so I didn't love it as much as I did Breath of the Wild, but Ocarina of Time I grew up with, nostalgia, everything else with that is awesome. So I'm going to just definitely play some more as we go along. I definitely want to get into Wind Waker. And eventually I'll play that. Not sure exactly when I will, because I don't play video games all the time, but when I do find time, I'm just going to keep recording things. I have just started last night I started recording. Well, it's probably up now. I don't know when I'm actually putting this video. If I put this video at the very end of Twilight Princess as a little reactionary, that's probably what I'm doing. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed watching me play the Amazon Prime, not the Amazon Prime. I'm going to name it that all the time, but it's the Metroid Prime. Hopefully that's been enjoying for you. If you guys do enjoy these videos, please please subscribe, put a comment down below. Hopefully the algorithm kind of gets to a few more people. We start getting a few more coming along, but it's great having you along on the ride. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.